What's going on, guys? Welcome to our TBA Season 3 Week 7, I believe, video. We just came off the back of a unfortunate loss last week to some serious heat, probably one of the heatest out of 10 sets I've ever seen. Unfortunately, that was our downfall, but, you know, we're just going to move on. We're going to play out the rest of the season. We're going to have a lot of fun. That's really the end goal here. This week we're taking on the Atlanta Braviarys and Coach AU, also known as Rick. Rick replaced another guy who dropped a few weeks ago. Sorry about that. He did do his game last week, which was against the San Antonio Tyrantrums and Primal Rush, who we lost to. They did come out on top. So I'm assuming they're pretty good about that level, about that skill level. So I guess we're going in, we're having fun. If we come out with a win, we come out with a win. But I guess the end goal at this point is just to not finish last. But again, if we do, I don't really care. So his team's alright. He's only played one game with a new team, so I can't really predict in that sense what Pokemon he might bring, like what the likelihood of Pokemon he'll bring. But let's take a look at the team he does have. So he's got a Jirachi, which is a Steel Psychic Pixie Pokemon with Stealth Rocks. Gets Stealth Rocks, it can Wish Pass, it can do a number of different things. It's typically, it can run Scarf as well with its Serene Grace Flinch shenanigans, which have really pissed me off in the past, but I won't let it get to me this time unless it, costs me a win. That thing can be really annoying. With its Serene Grace ability, it increases the likelihood of secondary effects, such as burns, such as flinches, such as freezes, even if he wants to be a dick. But I think we got good ways to get rid of Jirachi, though. I think we can beat it fairly easily. He's got a Blissey, which is an exceptionally bulky special defense wall, massive HP stat with a lot of special defense. Not much defense, but it still takes a few physical hits, which is quite surprising. But that's really just because of its massive HP stat. Not much else. It's really annoying to deal with. It's a really good Wish Passer as well. He's got a number of Wish Passes on this team. But it's a real bastard to deal with. But again, you just send out a physical Pokemon on it, and it can take it out fairly. It can take it out, especially because Blissey can't burn you, and barring some hacks, but it doesn't get Serene Grace. It gets. Oh no, it does get Serene Grace. All right. My bad. He's got a Heracross, which is a powerful bug fighting type with 125 attack. It gets Guts, so he can run Flame Orb. He can try and run a Flame Orb set, or he can try and run a Choice Scarf set with Moxie, or even a Choice Scarf set with Flame Orb, in case I think that he's Moxie, so I burn him, and then he turns out to be Guts. So definitely something to watch out for. Got to watch the burns on this thing just to wait and see what kind of set it is. If it gets a Moxie boost, I'll know what it is, but I don't necessarily want to let something go down just so I can burn it. You know what I mean? It gets a fair bit of coverage as well, though, and it can be a real pain to deal with. Next up, he's got a Gardevoir, which is a really strong Choice Scarf user, also specially bulky and can run Wish and be a Cleric support option. It's got great special attack stat and great coverage, as most Psychics do have. It also gets the Trace ability, so it can trace the ability that my Pokemon has, which can be problematic, to say the least, under certain circumstances. He's got a Druddigon, which is a powerful Dragon type, very defensive as well, with Stealth Rocks, Glare, and it gets the ability Rough Skin, Sheer Force, and Mold Breaker. So it can run offensive with Sheer Force with its 120 attack. It could run Mold Breaker to break through, to nullify abilities that I may have, such as Magic Bounce on Mega Diancie. It can Glare through that. It can set up rocks through that. Or Rough Skin, so that if I touch it, I get hurt back a bit. But mold, if it does come, I fully expect a mold breaker. I fully expect it to be mold breaker, just so we can just so we can stealth rock up, glare, and Mega Diancie can't bounce it back with magic bounce. He's got a golem, which I don't really expect to show up. It's a rock ground type, very physically bulky. It's one of his stealth rockers. He's got a lot of stealth rockers though, and this is the least likely to show up. But it is reliable. It is sort of a reliable stealth rocker. I'm honestly not really sure what this thing can do, but it could show up. It could be his Heatran switch-in. If it is, I guess we'll just play it by ear, but I don't really anticipate this thing to be too problematic for us. But he does have a Mega Gyarados, which can be very problematic. It's a very powerful Water Dark type that gets Dragon Dance to set up. It gets Dual Stab, Ice coverage, Flying coverage, Dark coverage. It gets Grass coverage now with Power Whip. It's just overall a real pain to deal with, and it can be really problematic for my team to deal with as well. In particular, also because of its bulk, it can get up a Dragon Dance fairly easily, and if it does get one up, we might be in really bad shape. Next up, he's got a Superior, which is the fastest Pokemon on his team at 113 speed. It may not look like much with its base stats, but it gets the Contrary ability, which powers up its Leaf Storms every time it uses it. Instead of Leaf Storm traditionally drops special attack, but Contrary flips stat boosting or negate or stat dropping effects. So stat drops become stat boosts, and stat boosts become stat drops. So Leaf Storm will increase its special attack by 2 stages each time it uses it. That's annoying. It doesn't get hidden power though, because I believe this isn't a hidden power league. But irrespective, that could prove to be problematic. But we have ways to deal with it. He's got a Moltres, which is a bulky fire flying type that can also hit hard. It's 4 times weak to rocks though, which we could take to our which we could use to our advantage. But it can run heavy duty boots. It'll probably be running Flame Body as well, so that'll make it bit of a bastard to hit with contact moves. But it gets good dual coverage. Good dual stab. Flamethrower, Flare Blitz, Brave Bird, Hurricane, stuff like that. Gets Defog, Roost, Toxic, all these kinds of support moves. So I can see this thing coming. He's got a Raichu, which is his fast electric type, at 110 base speed. It gets a lot of coverage as well with Surf, Grass Knot, Focus Blast. It also gets Wish, believe it or not, which is also something to watch out for. But this thing can actually prove to be quite problematic for my team. Not gonna lie, just because that coverage is a bit annoying. Last Pokemon he's got is a Muck, which is a really especially bulky poison type. I'm not entirely sure what it can do, because I think it's pretty similar to a Alolan Muck, except it's not dark type. So I guess we'll see what this thing can do. It probably does, yeah, I'm pretty sure it just does the same stuff that my Alolan Muck and PBL can do, but with a few more weaknesses. But yeah, let's move on. So we got a surprise. We're bringing back Mazda. Zoom. Mazda's coming back for the first time since week 3. It's been on the bench for quite a while, but we're bringing it back now with Expert Belt and Speed Boost, Swords Dance, Poison Jab, Earthquake, Rock Slide. This thing hits everything on his team really, really hard. Poison Jab hits a lot of things for neutral damage, and then Earthquake and Rock Slide, neutral stab damage, Earthquake and Rock Slide cover pretty much everything else, I believe. So this, if we can get this thing up for if we can set this thing up for a sweep, then that would be fantastic. We can probably set it up on the Blissey. Blissey could be running Thunder Wave though. We got to watch out for Glare on the Druddigon though. But we should be able to. Hopefully, we can get this thing to win. We're bringing back Amy as well. We're bringing a different set. We're not bringing Choice. We're bringing Leftover Substitute with Liquidation, Ice Punch, and Power Up Punch. This guy also doesn't have many good reliable answers to Floatzel. So if we can sub up on something, maybe like the Druddigon, we can get a substitute off on the Glare. We can get a few Power Up Punches on the Mega Gyarados and really go to town. It outspeeds his entire team with 240 Jolly Nature, because his fastest Pokemon is Superior. Hopefully Amy can put in the work and really break through his team. Next up, we got our special wall in Heatran, which is also our Jirachi switch in, Stealth Rock, Lava Plume, Toxic, and Ancient Power coverage. Ancient Power is really for Moltres, so we can come in on Moltres as well. It Toxics a lot of things, but this thing comes in on Jirachi, it comes in on Gardevoir, it comes in on Superior, Moltres, kind of comes in on Raichu, but it really pressures them back with Lava Plume. It sets up Stealth Rocks, and it can Toxic or Ancient Power the Moltres. We might, if we get an Omni Boost, that could be really hype, but I really don't anticipate that happening. Next up, we got Critic's Nightmare. We're running a physically defensive set. This thing comes in on Mega Gyarados 100% of the time. We take 2 Waterfalls at +1, and we take like 3 or 4 without any boosts. We're also running Double Kick in case he runs Substitute. This way we can break through it because Foul Play... if he's running a bulky set, Foul Play won't really break through the Substitute, but Double Kick has a chance. So we're bringing a bit of heat on that front. Hopefully it can prove useful. Next up, Booberry is making his debut. Colberberry with Will-O-Wisp, Recover, Scald, and Dazzling Gleam. This thing also kind of doesn't come in on the Mega Gyarados, but after it gets set up, it tries to go for the sweep. We can come in with this thing, we can burn it, we can Dazzling Gleam it, we can do something. It also comes in on a few other things. It can come in on the Druddigon, sort of. It's also a Heracross switch in, though. Again, we got to watch the Will-O-Wisp and even the Scald burns, so we might Dazzling Gleam it initially until we know what set it is, but hopefully Booberry can put in the work on the defensive front and really pressure his team. Last but not least, we have Jim's Mowing. Our Choice Scarf Rotom Mow is coming back. Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Leaf Storm, Defog. We outspeed his whole team. Outspeed like a Scarf Heracross set, which could be a thing. And we can get a big Thunderbolt off on it. And also Defog to clear hazards. His most likely hazard set is a Jirachi or Druddigon. Both of them I can see coming to the game. So Defog will be really useful, especially since we forgot to bring it last time. I think we forgot to bring it a few weeks ago in one of our games, but we won't make that mistake. We got to bring Defog. I always forget to bring Defog, but you know, we got to bring it. So that's the team we're rocking with. Hopefully we can set it up for Scolipede to get a big sweep off. We can get some chip damage on a few things where we'll be in good shape. And we got to stop the Gyarados from sweeping. Heatran comes in on the Superior, so I'm not too worried about that. Jim's Mowing also comes in on the Raichu, sort of. It's kind of like a soft check to Raichu, but it can't really do much back aside from Leaf Storm, so I guess we'll see how that goes for us. But this is the team we're rocking with. Hopefully we can come out with a win. I really just want to have fun at this point, though. I will see you in the battle. See you then.
Hey guys, welcome back. We are about to take on Rick and the Atlanta Braviarys, I think. Just quickly before we get into it, I made a change to the team. I took Floatzel out and replaced it with Silvally Fighting, Max Defensive, Parting Shot, Multi-Attack, Draco, and Roar. The reason I did this is because I realized in a few mocks that Golem was actually likely to come, and Golem actually really pressured my team, particularly preventing the Scolipede sweep. One of the guys I mocked brought a Heavy Duty Boots Golem set, which meant that Sturdy was always activated, which meant it could always take an Earthquake at +2 from Scolipede. So I realized that's going to be a problem. So I brought in Silvally. Silvally is also a switch into Blissey to be able to break through it better. The Draco Meteor is also there for Druddigon. Druddigon's also a bit of a problem, so I might be able to drop a Draco and then fire off some multi-attacks and get that thing down, whittled down. So unfortunately, Floatzel's dropped this week, but we're bringing back the Pede and we're bringing back False God, and let's get straight into the battle. Okay, so he brought the Gyarados, he brought the Superior, the Blissey, the Heracross, the Jirachi, and the Druddigon. Wow. Okay, he didn't bring the Gardevoir, didn't bring the Gyarados, didn't bring the Moltres. A lot of stuff I didn't necessarily expect. That's okay though. So how do we win? Oh no, he did bring the Gyarados. Gyarados, so what didn't he bring? He didn't bring the Bliss. No, he did bring the Blissey. He didn't bring the Moltres. He didn't bring the Golem. Didn't bring the Gardevoir. Those were two things I was a few things I was expecting. Okay, so how do we win with Scolipede? Poison Jab, Poison Jab, Poison Jab, Poison Jab, Earthquake, Earthquake. Yeah. Scolipede should have a pretty good time. We just got to chip down a few things. Excuse me. We could probably set up on the Blissey, but we got to scout if it's carrying Thunder Wave or not. That could be problematic. So, what should we lead with? I think we might just lead with Jim. Jim could be a pretty solid lead. Yeah, I think Jim's a good lead. If he leads with Jirachi, it could be Scarfed, but it might not be. Regardless, we live any hit from it. So I think leading with Jim is probably the safest play. Okay, so he leads with Druddigon probably to get up rocks. He might be fearing a Will-O-Wisp and switch out, or he's probably just going to stay in and get the rocks up. Either way, I'm just going to Volt Switch straight into Silvally. So Silvally can take this thing on. Since that is our dedicated switch in, or I could go into Jellicent and get a Will-O-Wisp off, which could be really good for us, but I want to try and retain HP with Jellicent, as since Heracross has come, it's going to be our Heracross switch in, and Umbreon is going to be our primary answer to Gyarados. So in that case, let's go straight into Silvally. As he steps up Stealth Rocks, okay. Chances are he switches. So it's Silvally fighting, so we might go into Jirachi. In which case we could fire off he could also go for a Glare, I think. He might go into Gyarados as well. Maybe we get off a Parting Shot. If we get off a Parting Shot, what do we do? If he stays in, what do we do? I don't really know. So we might just stay in and go for the Draco, because I think he might. I don't know. Should we reveal the Draco tech now, or should we save it for later? How much is it even doing? False Guard against Druddigon. Draco Meteor does a solid amount, about half to it's about half. So let's just fire off a Draco as he brings in the Jirachi. Okay, so we brought in the Jirachi. I think now we can just go hard into Heatran. Heatran takes any hit it can do. Yeah, okay, so he just goes for a U-turn. He's probably going to go out into Heracross. I would expect Heracross would make the most sense. Also noted that the Jirachi is leftovers, so it's probably a defensive set. Alright, he goes straight into the Gyarados, so we're just going to go straight into Umbreon. Wait. No, we're going to go into Rotom. Yeah, we're going to go into Rotom and put the offensive pressure on. And if he goes for an Earthquake, then Mold Breaker. Okay, I forgot Mold Breaker was a thing. Alright, he goes straight for the Waterfall. He doesn't want to take a Volt Switch, so we could go for that. We could also just defog to clear hazards, but if he stays in, then that could be a bit of a problem. So I think our safest play is really just to Volt Switch here and get momentum back, as he does go into the Blissey. Okay, so he goes into the Blissey, so we're just going to go back into Silvally. We can fire off a big multi-attack, but that's probably pretty predictable, so I think we're going to go for a Parting Shot here. Because he does not want to take a multi-attack from this thing. He really doesn't. But he might think we're special though, and I don't think... How much is Jirachi? Because it seems like a defensive Jirachi. We're just going to assume max HP. Actually, how much did we do with Draco earlier? We might be able to scout out sort of what kind of set it is. Draco did about 11%, so it seems like it's going to be max HP. Probably a bit of special... a little bit of special defense, but mostly max HP. Multi-attack does a pretty sizable chunk to it, assuming it's not physically defensive. It might be though. I think it is going to be physically defensive, so I think we can go for a Parting Shot. He's thinking. He's thinking about what to do. So we could stay in and go for a multi-attack. I guess if we go for a multi-attack, we can scout out the Jirachi's We can scout out the Jirachi's set a bit more. So let's just go for a multi-attack, and we'll go for the offensive play. If he goes into Heracross, which I don't think he does because he doesn't know what set I am, Silvally can run almost anything. I don't think he'll go into the Heracross, but he might. If he does, then we can just go straight into the Jellicent and go straight into Booberry. We ought to find an opportunity to set up Scolipede, and that's probably going to be on the Blissey. If it can reveal Thunderwave early, then that's going to be huge for us, and we know that that's something to watch out for. Otherwise, I'm not really sure what we set up on. Probably the Superior. Okay, so he does actually go into the Heracross, which I got to say is pretty surprising. He eats the multi-attack pretty well. I don't really want to take a hit from this thing, because I want to make sure it's around for Drotagon. So I think I'm just going to go hard into Jellicent. If he goes for a knockoff, yeah, he does. We eat it with the Culver. That's perfect. We can recover off damage, or we can just go straight for a Will-O-Wisp. He's probably going to go into Blissey though, so I'm just going to recover. He goes into Superior. Okay. Now we can just go straight into Heatran again, because Superior doesn't have any momentum. He might make a hard prediction though and switch, but he clearly didn't switch. So yeah, just goes for the Glare. Okay. Now's an opportunity for us to set up our own Stealth Rock, so I think we're going to take that. I think we'll take that opportunity. Yeah, his only real switch in is Blissey, which is okay. We can probably stay in here though, get some HP back from leftovers. He might go... Yeah, we can fire off a Toxic. Oh, we just get paralyzed. Okay. He goes for a Teleport, and he goes into... I mean, I guess that Toxic didn't really matter then anyway if it was just going... At least we don't reveal what we have. Okay, and he goes into the Gyarados. So I think now I go hard into Umbreon. He hopefully doesn't go for a substitute. Okay, so he's just Dragon Dance. So I think now we can just go straight for the Foul Play, because we eat hits, yeah. We eat hits, and Foul Play does a lot of damage. Now we can Wish Up. I think we can Wish Up now. If he goes for another Dragon Dance, that could be problematic. Okay, so he just goes into the Superior. Now could be an opportunity to heal up Rotom, but we live any hit, so I think we'll just go for a Foul Play. If he glares us, then he because of Synchronize, he paralyzes himself, which could be very useful. He just goes for the Leaf Storm. That's okay. We get a bit of damage off with Foul Play, and now I think we just go hard into Heatran. As he goes for another Leaf Storm, which we tank very easily. We can go for a Lava Plume now to get some chip damage off, or we can go hard into Silvally on the Blissey. That could be another play. I think we'll just go for damage with the Lava Plume, because we can take advantage of Blissey trying to heal itself back up. We're chipping down the Gyarados fairly well though, which is good. We're making sure that that thing doesn't have an opportunity to sweep us. We've got a number of things that can take hits. Silvally can take... I think it can take a +1. Rotom even outspeeds at +1, so he needs to get to +2 to be able to sweep me. But even then, I'm pretty sure Umbreon still lives a hit. But if it doesn't, that could be a real problem. So we got to make sure that thing's healthy. So since it's revealed Waterfall Dragon Dance, so it's probably not Substitute, which means that his last moves are likely going to be Ice Fang, or whatever ice moves it get. I think Ice Fang and Crunch. He could be running Earthquake, but I don't really think he can. We get more Power Hacks. My god. All right. I think we just go hard into Rotom. We can probably get a Defog off, or we can get a Volt Switch on the Teleport, because we want to get rid of these rocks. These rocks are really pissing us off. Okay, now we have a tough play. That Seismic Toss did a lot. We might have to let Rotom go down to get the rocks, clear rocks, which is going to be... Okay, he just goes for the Teleport. Okay, so we live. Okay, so we can keep Rotom around for a bit longer, but now we can't let him get rocks up again with Druddigon. Maybe we go hard Rotom into the Druddigon and defog them away again. I'm not sure. But we can't afford to let Druddigon set up rocks again. Okay, so we went for a knockoff, which we eat. we're probably going to fire... He might expect us to fire back a big Scald or something. So I think now we make the aggressive play into... I think we go hard into Rotom. We can go hard into Rotom and get some momentum back with a Volt Switch on something. I can see... hey, we really got to think about this, because he's making a lot of plays. I can see him going into Jirachi here, but I don't think it really wants to take a Will-O-Wisp. I can also see him going into Superior. But if he goes into Superior, that's just a free Heatran switch. He could go into Blissey. I think Blissey's probably the most likely play. So I think I'm going to go hard into Silvally. Okay, so he goes into Jirachi. So we can just go hard. He might stay in here. He might stay in and just go for a U-turn, because he knows we're going to switch. So let's just Parting Shot. Okay, so he wishes. So that's Wish Jirachi. So we can go straight into Heatran. Now I think we can get our Stealth Rocks back up. I think now. Or he goes into... Oh, he probably goes into Gyarados. Shit. Okay, that's alright. We can just go hard back into Umbreon. But he goes into Gyarados. But he might not. He might expect the Lava Plume and not want to risk the burn. That's also a possibility. But if we can get our rocks back up, we can get some more chip on his team each time. Well, each turn. Jeez, that Seismic Toss did a lot to Rotom. But I guess Blissey has a lot of HP, so it sort of works. Or not even, because it's 100 HP, I think. Okay, so he just goes into Gyarados. I'm just going to go hard into Umbreon again. Like, there's no reason not to. Or, actually, I want to make sure I can utilize Rotom before it goes down. So I might just go hard into Rotom on the Dragon Dance. Do I think he goes for the Dragon Dance, or do I think he goes for a Waterfall? He probably goes for a Dragon Dance to try and set up on the Umbreon. If he doesn't go for a Dragon Dance, then that's okay. Rotom goes down to... Oh shit, I didn't mean to click that. I didn't mean to click it. Oh well, it is what it is. Well, Rotom goes down to Gyarados, which is quite unfortunate, because I didn't actually... I didn't mean to click Rotom. Not that it had that much use left anyway, really just to clear rocks, but it wasn't living rocks on the switch in, so... We can probably threaten it out with Scolipede. How much is a Mega Horn doing? Because Mega Horn could kill a Gyarados. Okay, Poison Jab does that much, but how much does Mega Horn do? Mega Horn does kill, so we could threaten it. We could threaten it with the Mega Horn, which could be a good play. We could do that, but I think we need more chip on the Gyarados before we actually try to go for a sweep, unless we can get to +2, but he probably just goes into something else. You know, how much is it doing back to us? Quite a lot. It's probably Waterfall? About 73%. Is it worth it? We can't exactly clear rocks. I think we're just going to go into Silvally. We can get a Parting Shot off on the switch, because there's no way he stays in. Unless he goes for a bounce, which could be some real heat. But I don't think he's that. I don't think he was expecting really a Silvally fighting. You can't expect a Silvally type. Okay, so now we get some momentum for us. He goes into as he goes into Jirachi. We can now go into... We can now probably go into Umbreon, and we can get a... Nah, I think we go into Heatran. We got to pressure it. We go for a Lava Plume, I think. Yeah, we can't let it get wishes. If he goes into Gyarados, we might be able to get a Lava Plume burn. Okay, here comes the Gyarados. Do we get the burn? Mold Breaker. We get fucking paralyzed. These para hacks. I swear to God. Alright, I guess we just go hard into Umbreon. Yeah, hard into Umbreon. I think he's saving the Druddigon for the Scolipede now. Oh my God, the para hacks are killing me. If I go for anything other than Stealth Rocks, I get paralyzed. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Oh well, it is what it is. We're just gonna go hard into Umbreon. If he goes, yeah, he goes for the Dragon Dance, so we're just gonna go for the foul play, just like last time. He goes for the Waterfall. Don't flinch us. Thank you very much. We get big damage off with the foul play. Now I think we can go for another foul play on the Dragon Dance, because I think I think he might predict a Dragon Dance here. He might predict a Wish here because we went for it last time. But I can't really afford to lose Umbreon. That's the problem. I'm just going to go for it. Okay, so he just switches into Blissey. So now we can Baton Pass. Or we can actually Wish up. Yeah, we can actually Wish up on the Blissey. Okay, so there's a Toxicness. Now we can just Baton Pass into... I think we can Baton Pass into the Scolipede. Go for a Seismic Toss. Okay, so he goes for the Teleport. What does he go into? Probably the Druddigon. Yeah, he goes into the Druddigon. That's not good. We can't let it set up rocks. How much is Druddigon? Because I think Gyarados would be in... Yeah, Gyarados is in range. Druddigon's not killing us with anything. At +2, how much are we doing with Poison Jab? Poison Jab can kill from this range. He's actually, no, he's probably physically defensive, not specially defensive. We can't let it set up rocks for free though, because that could be very problematic. So I think we can't let it set up rocks for free. We can chip it down. We have an opportunity to chip it down a bit. Because chances are it's physically defensive. Okay. Max defense bold, Poison Jab is about 50%. And we take damage back with wait, did he reveal Mold Breaker? No, he didn't, so he's probably Rough Skin. Earthquake does about 50% as well, just under 50%. This is tough. He could Rock Slide as well. I think I have to go into Silvally. Okay, so he just goes for the rocks. That's a shame. Now I think we can just Parting Shot because he knows that we're Draco, so we can go for a Parting Shot straight into Heat Train. Now please, please, please don't paralyze me. Okay, we get a big Lava Plume off on Jirachi and we burn it, which is massive. Can we get another Lava Plume off on the Gyarados? Can we please get a Lava Plume off on the Gyarados? No! Every single time! Every single fucking time. Alright, let's go into Silvally. Let's change things up a bit. I think we gotta go into Silvally on this now. Every single time. Every single time. Unfortunately, Umbreon isn't max HP, so I can't exactly rely on it now. But Silvally is reliable. We can go for a multi-attack now. We can get it down, knock it down quite a bit. Don't flinch us, thank you. Okay, we get some big damage off. Now I think we can go... Now I think we make the play. We could make a play into Jellicent. We could make a play... Yeah, I think we make a play into Jellicent on the Waterfall. And then we can get... Oh no, because we're Cursed Body. We're not Water Absorb. Although we could get rid of Waterfall in its entirety and then go into Umbreon. I don't really want to let Silvally go down here. I really don't want to let Silvally go down, just because it's got so much usefulness. So I think we're going to go into Jellicent. Okay, so he gets the Water Absorb, and he gets the Disable. Okay, that's good. Now we can go into Umbreon. On the Crunch, Ice Fang. Oh no! The hacks in this game. I feel like I'm gonna get hacked out of a win here. It all matters. Can I... For fuck's sake! I can't catch a fucking break. I can't catch a break. Now I lose because of fucking para hacks and flinch hacks. Jesus Christ. Just knock me out, yeah. Just fucking beat me. G fucking G. I get paralyzed like 4 or 5 different times going for a lava plume on the Gyarados. Each one of those times I could have gotten a burn. Each one of those times I could have gotten a burn. But no, I just get fucked over. And then the fucking freeze on the Umbreon, which is my only thing to stop Gyarados. It's just ridiculous. I'm not going to say a good game for that, because that wasn't a good game, but I'm sorry, I'm losing my cool. I shouldn't be losing my cool, but now we're completely out of the playoffs race, which is fine. It just means we can have more fun next week against TRT. I think we might have had a chance if we got a big win there, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Like and subscribe for more related content. I don't usually get this heated, but surely you can understand why I'm pissed off on that. Surely you can understand why I'm pissed off on that. Like and subscribe for more content. There's 2 more TBA battles, and I'll be making sure I drop videos for those. After that, we're going to go back to our 4 games a week schedule. Yeah, it's just not fun anymore. It's just not fun anymore. I have a chance, and I get haxed out of a win. I didn't even make a dumb mistake, and he didn't even overpower me. I just got haxed. You know what? We played well. We played well despite the hacks, but that freeze was just the icing on the cake. And it is what it is, but that's just the game we play. Oh my god. That's so annoying. I'm rambling. Like and subscribe. Drop a comment. Hopefully, I don't know. See you in the next video.